What's going on, everybody? It's me, Patrick Gnarly. This is the first guitar lesson that we're going to be recording. It's a live show, so it's going to be a lot of ums and uhs and me reading out stuff. You can't see the chat, but there's a chat in the Discord I can see. So we're technically in a video right now. Thank you, Kat. So, all right. So let's get going with the lesson. So I'm going to answer some questions for people. Kat, you had said that there was a question about stiffness in the hand or something like that. Can you elaborate? Can you explain what you mean by that? You mean like when you're playing, your hand gets like tired and you have to like shake it out, or what does that mean? Because if it is like, that's not stiffness, that's fatigue. That is your muscle not having enough energy and it's kind of getting like stiff, but it's more like, you know, if you ever hold like a heavy book or like, you know, you're holding furniture and you're like, oh, your hand starts to shake, kind of like that. That's your muscle basically wearing out. It's losing its energy. So I have dexterity problems due to my disability and was hoping you might have a remedy for like joints locking up. That's all. I don't have a remedy for that, but I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people, when they start playing guitars, they complain about two big things that I've noticed. One is while they're playing the bar chord. If you don't know what a bar chord is, let me just get a guitar here. I'm going to get the Strato Bastard. So what happens is, let me plug this in, is that when people play a chord, let's just say one of these chords, right? This is a barred chord. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your index finger. That's the 5th fret on the big string, the big E, and then you take your pinky and your ring finger, and you put them on 7 and 7, right next to each other, and then you put your middle finger down on, it's got 6, and then your main finger. This is where the barred comes in, barred chords. So it goes like this, but then you put those other 3 fingers down. And it sounds like that. So the idea is most people, when they're starting guitar and they play that chord, it sucks. And they're like, my hand. This sucks. But if you notice, I'm not complaining at all. So most people, when they complain about a barred chord like that, and they're getting what is called fatigued, I don't put it in quotes. I mean, it is what it is. But what's happening is the strings are very heavy for you, and your guitar is not set up in a way where it's like, that's easy. It's going to be difficult for the first week or two while you're playing. It just is. Your hand has never done this before. Much like when you're typing on a keyboard, the idea is you're not going to know everything right away. But the important part is to get your muscles comfortable, and it's really your tendons. There's these like wires inside your hand. You can actually see them when you look at your wrist right here. There's like a tendon. I mean, not like a tendon. It is a tendon. There's a tendon that goes all the way to your strings because there's not really any muscles here. There are, but they're not. That's not what's moving really. It's the tendon pulling on your fingers. You can see my tendon right there and stuff. Isn't that cool? But the idea is that as you play, that will strengthen, but it takes a long time for your tendons to actually get stronger. It takes 3 times longer than a muscle to heal and get better. So, but bottom line is if you're playing guitar, what you want to do is get the right strings for you. Get the right setup for you. Some guitars have smaller necks, some guitars have bigger necks, some guitars have big, thick strings on them. Sometimes they have real thin strings. I like a kind of small neck. Not really, but kind of small. It's got some like weight on the back of it. It's got some chunk to it. But it's got a small width to it. So from here to here, if you look from here to here, it's not that thick. It's pretty thin. So I call it a broomstick. If you think about a broomstick instead of a baseball bat, I like broomsticks. So if you're playing guitar, if you're learning how to play guitar, you want to find the right guitar for your hands. But that's kind of subjective, I should say. So that's what you want to do. So the short answer, that long, drawn-out answer, the short answer is make sure you get your guitar set up and make sure you're using the strings that are comfortable for you. So that's a big thing. So if your hand's getting, like, fatigued, if you're just shaking your hand out, that's what you want to do. You want to get the guitar set up for you. Because this guitar, Look at this. I can bar with a pink. I can bar the strings with my pinky. No problem. I can do that all day. You know what I mean? It should be that easy. You should be having no problems. If you're shaking your hand out after you're done playing, that's a bad thing. Does anybody else have any questions? Kat, does that help you, by the way? Is that a helpful thing? Did you get all that? I know I speak kind of fast. There's a lot of information there, but I hope that helps. Does anybody else have any questions, or do you guys just want me to go on just a little yapathon and talk about the things? Why does my string buzz, Peyton asks. Peyton, that's a good question. So this goes back to the setup thing that I said. So when I say set your guitar up, I actually have a video on YouTube. It goes over the steps on how to set your guitar up. So I want you guys to imagine something real quick. Anytime you guys are playing a guitar, if you look at most guitars like Strats, like these, there are a couple points that have screws and stuff. So let me move this camera real quick. So if you look, see how there's little screws back here? See how there's like little tiny holes in the top right here? All of that stuff adjusts things. It makes a difference. I'll show you another spot. See there's a hole right there? So the idea is your strings are buzzing because when you fret the string, up here, the string is too close to the frets, and so watch this. I can actually make it fret buzz. That means it's touching something it's not supposed to be. It's not designed to do that. So you can actually make your guitar's fret buzz a lot if you just watch my hand. If you watch my finger placement right here, if you're right behind the fret, it actually won't do it as much, but if you go further away. So what's happening is your guitar isn't set up in a way that actually is good for having the notes. So there's a couple ways that could happen. So if you're trying to get your guitar set up, here's the big one. There's something called the train method. Train. So it's tune, right? So you got to make sure your guitar's in tune. And then R for relief, which is the neck to make it straight. You got to make sure there's enough relief in the neck because you got to think the strings are always pulling on it. They're just constantly pulling, right? So the idea is as you're playing your guitar, let me move my camera back a little bit. There we go. So as you're playing your guitar, what's happening is those strings are constantly pulling that way. So as it's going that way, your neck will start to pull up like this. You can actually make the guitar do that. Watch. Here are the tuning. So if your neck isn't straight, then you might run into fret buzz. It might be going the other way too. Instead of it going up like this, it might be going back. They call it a back bow. So I'd have to see your guitar physically to see what's going on with it, but that means your guitar is not set up. So interesting. Notice how your hand could be fatigued. Notice how you might have difficulty playing and there might be some fret buzz. It's almost like you have to get your guitar set up well. Just like how if you ever get into a car, the seat might be all the way back or it might be all the way forward. You want to get into a comfortable position where you're sitting. Same thing with the guitar. The guitar is meant to be adjustable for you. So there's a couple ways. Short answer, there's a couple reasons that could be happening. Long answer, you got to get your guitar set up. Does anyone else have a question? Anybody else have anything they want to ask? Or otherwise, I can just kind of go in to some prepared stuff I have for you. And if there's no questions at all, I'll just go right into it. And also, for the people that are at home, if you're watching this, obviously you can drop a comment. You can let me know. But you talked about this. Can you expand on this? You're a subscriber. You're here too, even though you're not. You know what I mean? It's no big deal. But I see Salami is typing something. I'm going to teach you guys to play Get By tonight. Because I know that Eclipse asked me for the tabs and stuff. Wanna get out of the city. All right, I guess Peyton's not. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Peyton's not asking anything. All right. So for those of you who are just starting a guitar, we're going to go over a song that I wrote called Get By. It's very easy. Very easy. So the idea is you're going to play 2 chords, and then your pinky's going to dance around a little bit. Super easy to play. You're going to be like, wow, Pat really wrote something this dumb? It's true. So what you do is, I'm going to assume you've played guitar for a little bit. Has anybody not played guitar at all in here? Because I can change the way I talk about stuff. So has anybody not played guitar at all? Like they're starting it from scratch. Looks like everybody's played a little bit. Okay, so here's how you play Get By. Get By is not so bad. So on the fretboard, when I say a number, that is the fret number. So for example, if I say play the 12th fret, you'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And lucky for you, there's these little markers on here, these little dots. So the 12th fret's always got the double dots, something like that. It's usually between sets of 2 blanks. So you got the double dots, that's always the 12th fret. So, all right, so with Get By, the way we start this is, we're going to start with what is called an open string. This is open E, which means I'm not playing any fret. It's just open. See? Just like that. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take our middle finger, boop, anyways, and we're going to place it on the 7th fret on the 5th string. And for those of you who don't know what the 5th string is, I don't know why they do this. I hate this, but they count up. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're counting up, this will be the 5th string or the A string as they call it. So 5th string, middle finger, and then you're going to put it on the 7th fret. And if you notice, check this out. You want to know some music theory stuff. That is an octave. These are both the E note. But who cares about that? That's boring. So what you're going to do is next, you're going to take your index finger, right, your pointer finger, and it's actually right where it needs to be. If you look at my hand, it's right where it needs to be. It is actually on the, let's see here, 6th fret, right behind it. So you got that. So you're going to play all 3 of those notes, 1, 2, and 3. Is anybody playing along at home? I just want to make sure. Or are people just watching? Jarvis is playing along. Salami, you're playing along. All right, cool. So that's Get By. So that's the one. Watch this. Check this out. Watch. Your pinky also already there. You didn't even know it yet. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pinky and you're going to put it on that 9th fret on the 4th string. Check that out. Ready? And that's it. You basically learned almost the entire song. Watch this. We're going to play it along together. Ready? And then all you're going to do next is you're going to move down a string. Check this out. Watch. Wanna get out of the city. Wanna live by the bay. Same chord. Same thing. We're just starting on different strings. So we went from open, right? Open, 7, 6. Open, 7, 9. Wanna get by. Then we just go down 1 string for all that. So then we go open, but it's on the 5th string, right? So that 5th string right there. Same thing. Is anybody having trouble with that? And then the trick after that, I know I'm going a little fast, is instead of putting your pinky on the 9th fret on that, what is that, the 3rd string, you'll go down 1 more string, but just with the pinky. And then you take your ring finger and you go back to that. So you make like a chevron shape. It's like an upside down V, like an A shape, I guess. It kind of goes like that. So you go, what is that? 9 on the B string, on the second string, and then you go to the 7 right there. So everybody getting that? I'm gonna write these down on the Patreon too. And if you notice my right hand, what my right hand is doing is it's kind of going down. It's going. It's got this cool little beat to it. So it goes. How's it going? You guys getting it all right? Salami says, yeah. Wanna get out of the city. Wanna live by the bay. Wanna get a good job that pays well. Wanna get laid. H-O-T-T-O-T-O. Wait, it's H-O-T-T-O-G-O. Sorry. H-O-T-T-O-G-O. Can you explain the strumming a little bit, Jarvis says. Yes, I can. So, do not clip that. Me misspelling it. Moron, Patrick Gnarly says the wrong letters in the song. Okay, so the right hand, I will move the camera a little bit. So the right hand. So if you watch, I'm moving my hand up and down. This is something you have to learn for sure. It's really helpful. They call that alternate picking. You are alternating between down picking and up picking. In that video where I talked about Master of the Uppets, where I do the Master Puppets, I do Master of the Uppet. Master of Uppets. I keep saying Master of the. But anyways, Master of Uppets. The idea is that you can go up or down. But if you do alternate picking, you're doing up and downs. You're going. This is very economical. It's very optimal for like saving energy and time because your hand has to go back up anyways if you're doing down picking, right? So watch this. Especially if you're going up too. So you have to get familiar with doing up and down strokes with the guitar. It's very weird. It's not the best experience. I remember I spent 2 weeks when I was first learning guitar. I gave up twice. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. The Ramones and Metallica only do down picking, which is not true. But yeah, you want to be able to practice this. This is something very important. It's pretty easy to practice too, because all you need to do, this will help, is you have to have something to play where you just up and down pick. I'll give you a great example. What I learned from Tom Morello was to just go chromatically, which means every note in a row, you just go. Just like that. And then if you want to be really slick, check this out. You do like alternate with your fingers. Watch this. But if you, the main point is not to go fast. It's to be accurate and smooth. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it really helps to play along with the song too. So I'll give you we'll put Get By on here. Give me 1 second. We'll play this, okay? I'm going to play it. Might be loud. Yeah. Can I I play it with a drill? Yes, there's a famous musician that does that actually, Peyton.
Wanna get out of the city. Wanna live by the bay.
I was gonna say too, this is something interesting. There are a lot of upstrokes in this guitar, in this song. So if you watch, whenever I do that, what they call a, what do they call that? A rake, R-A-K-E. When you rake the strings, that means your hand, your left hand, is not fretting anything, but it's kind of deadening the strings. So instead of getting this sound, you're getting this sound. See, it's a different kind of tone to it. Does that make sense? Hello! We got Everett and Savannah in here. I'm just teaching you how to play Get By. Does that make sense? Everybody, you doing okay? If you have any questions, let me put it this way. You want to ask, because a lot of times people will be like, I'm not sure. You get points for asking questions, in my brain at least. If you're like, Pat, how do I do this part? Or Pat, what's going on with this? Patrick, I don't understand why this is happening. Like, for example, Jarvis said, can you explain the strumming a little bit? And I'm like, cool. Jarvis is learning. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm doing that upstroke a lot. Does that make sense? So anyways, so that's Get By in a nutshell. If you listen to the most of the song is just that.
Wanna get by. Get by. So right.
But then if you notice, this is something too. I put the distortion on when I do the
I wanna get by. Wanna get by. Get by. So right.
see the distortion, I'm playing the same chords. So distortion does a lot of heavy lifting in a lot of music. So for example, like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Check this out. Smells Like Teen Spirit. I'll move the camera just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So you get that. Notice how he's doing a lot of the same stuff I just did. You got the, right? The alternate picking, you're going down, down, up, down. And then he's raking the strings. Notice that? And he does the same chords with distortion. You'll notice a lot of music, a lot of stuff, especially in grunge, does something similar to that. So if you're trying to learn how to play a song, you're going to notice a lot of people use a lot of the same techniques. It's very interesting. So you got that. Then let me see if I can do Get By. Smells Like Teen Spirit. See, they're not the same kind of chords. It doesn't really work in that way. So, but anyways, it's fun to see those techniques and stuff. So raking, R-A-K-E, raking is where you just do that kind of thing over the strings. And if you notice, I don't just do it like, you can do it like slower or a little, or you can go up. Has like a different kind of effect to it. And then there's the idea of playing a set of chords that are the same chord, you just move the position. That's what's nice about guitar is you can play the same shape and then just move it around. So you got. But how's everybody feeling? Everybody comfortable with the idea of doing the upstrokes and downstrokes with guitar. You get that. Wait till you have to string skip. Wait, hold on. I'm going to move my camera a little bit so you can see my hand a little better. But notice how my hand is alternate picking and skipping strings. That's going to be like the, once you master this, Peyton wants to speak. That's wait, what? Wait, what? So that is the main lesson I was talking about, but learning Get By, and then the solos, obviously, a little bit, a little more motion to do stuff. But anyone else have any questions? Anybody have any songs they were working on they want me to talk about? I can talk about them. More than welcome to. Because if you want, here's what I want you to do. If you are enjoying the lesson so far, obviously, if you're still subscribed, next week we'll talk about more techniques, more things, but I want you to practice that. What you can do is we can have you get on the stage and show everybody how you're doing stuff. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be really cool? That way you'll be like, Pat, I learned your song. Wanna get by. And then I can see if you're doing something that's like maybe you're not fretting correctly. Maybe you're like way back here instead of right behind the fret. Or maybe you're hitting the wrong notes. Stuff like that. Candle in the dark. We can do that. That's a good point, Savannah. Let's see here. Hey, if you guys are just for posterity, if you guys are talking about anything but guitar and stuff like that, please try not to do that. I know, Salami, you said you got a bug bite, and then somebody was also talking about how they're getting attacked by a cat. Make sure you're respectful of the other people that are trying to learn some stuff. I know you guys are having stuff around you, but make sure it's related to the show. Like, I really want to make sure everyone's getting their stuff. So, Savannah, you said you want to learn Candle in the Dark and keep practicing it. If you want, we can definitely do like, if you want to play on here, I can tell you what's going on with it. I can tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing not so right, stuff like that. We can keep going. So. Well, I have the main strings, but I have 1 and 2 missing, kind of in the money struggle right now. Oh, dude, strings are like $6. If your parents aren't like buying you strings for your guitar, then like, what are they doing? That's more important. Getting strings for your guitar, that's super important. So, yeah. But does anybody have a song they're working on? Yeah, Ernie Ball is super cheap. You can get those for like $6, $7. Super cheap. But all right, if nobody has any song they're working on, I can talk about some other techniques, things like that. But I know that Kat, you did say something. You said, can we get a guitar anatomy lesson on like what the bits and bobs are? Yeah, Kat, we can do that for you. I can talk about any part on the guitar. I'll tell you what it does, why it's there, if it's necessary or not. Talk about all of that. This guitar I have right here, I mean, I've taken this apart so many times. So many times. I try not to anymore, but sometimes you got to do stuff. About a year ago, this volume, the actual what they call a potentiometer or the pot, potentiometer, pot, it's just short for it, that broke. So I had to get a replacement one. I actually don't like this one, but it works. So I'm like, whatever. So, I mean, Savannah, trust me, your folks have $7. They have more than $7 to spare for strings. Trust me. If you say, I need strings, I'm taking guitar lessons, and I'm doing good, they'll definitely be like, all right, fine. You can even buy single strings for like $1 each. You get every string. You get one string each. You can get $1. Maybe, but if you bug people enough, more often, you ever heard the phrase, the squeaky wheel gets the grease? Usually if you bug people enough, you'll get what you want. Doesn't mean it'll be good, but usually it's a good thing. So. Did anyone else have any questions, anything like that? Anyone want to talk about anything? Just want to make sure, because I'll just talk about some more guitar stuff if you guys like. Because Kat wanted me to go over all the parts. I can do that for sure. Easily I can do that. Jarvis says, can you go over the second part of the In Bloom solo? I don't know why I'm struggling with it. It's a weird solo, dude. The In Bloom solo is very strange. So I like to call the solos Kurt does for the most part, I call them sarcastic solos. And this is probably the most famous example of a sarcastic solo that he does. So Kurt was like he could shred if he wanted to. Not shred, but he could play a little better than most people. But he chose not to. He was like, I don't want to do this. He didn't like it. So he definitely had the capacity if he wanted to. He could play a lot better. But he liked to focus on singing and playing and songwriting. So I'm like, cool. But the sarcastic guitar solos, so for example, I'm going to change my position here real quick. This is if you can see me, I have my guitar on my left leg, and my left leg is like propped up. Most guitar is meant to be played like this. So if you're having like difficulty playing with the guitar on your right leg, try switching it to the left leg. But anyways, but let's proceed. So I'm gonna switch position real quick. So the idea is that with the In Bloom solo, he does these weird bends. So for those of you who don't know, the solo kind of goes. I'll actually just play it. I'll play it real quick. In Bloom solo. Let's check this out. If you go to YouTube and you just type in Bloom solo, guaranteed that, yep, there's a video right here. Oh, that is not very good. Sorry, that guy did not do a very good job. It goes, he bends on these two strings right here. That is the G and the B string, or the second and third string, depending on who you ask. So he bends it on, let's see, what frets are we on? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So he bends it on the 16th and 17th frets. And he goes. So the idea is he bends those strings. Jarvis, what was the exact part? You said it was halfway. I just remembered. You said halfway through the solo. Also, it helps to have chorus. If you have chorus, if you don't know what chorus is, it makes it sound kind of watery. This kind of 12-string effect. What it does is it copies the note, and it makes it just a little off out of tune. Isn't that cool? So if you're playing Come As You Are. So chorus helps, and then helping of a distortion. So I'm just going to turn on the boost I have, so it just goes. Now, what's funny is I actually never play this next chord right. I always pick a different note because I want to kind of honor the sarcasm, but I also like never looked it up. And I was like, I'm just gonna pick something. So I usually just pick random, and then I go back to the. Hey! Wait, it goes. Hey! Hold on. What does he play there? Hold on. This is funny. I'm gonna go back to In Bloom. I don't remember what he plays. Let me listen to this. Yeah, he plays that. He goes. He goes like that. Anyways, So Jarvis, what he does is he bends these two notes, and then he bends higher than he was, and then he bends these two notes right here. Probably can't see, but yeah, it's the what was that? 16 and 17, and then it's 13 and 15. Then he goes to 11. Then he goes even a little higher. Then he goes to, what is that, 17 and 18. So I'll show you, I'll send you a video of the actual tablature and stuff like that, but it's not so bad. You can barely manage to hold your guitar. Ooh. Anyways, but I'll send you a video of how he does the solo exactly. There's obviously people that have it written out notation-wise, stuff like that. It's not so bad, but he does a lot of bending, and again, it's like really sarcastic. So if you don't do it exactly right, you're kind of in the right exact area. So, does anyone else have any other questions, anything like that? We got about 9 minutes left. But Kat, if you're still here, I can go over those pieces of the guitar for you if you'd like to. Oh, Savannah has a question. Sorry, hold on. Yes, for Candle in the Dark, does my hand go on the 4th string? My finger won't reach just the 3rd unless I heard it wrong. I think it's only on the 6th, 5th, and 4th string. Yeah, so it goes. Let me get the guitar for that, actually, just so I can show you. So for Candle in the Dark. If I let go, cut this off. Where did I put my acoustic? Hold on one second, you guys. Where's my acoustic? That's okay, I'm not going to get it. But I know you need a capo for sure. That's okay, I'll just use the electric again. And make sure when you put a capo on, you always put it right behind the fret. Otherwise, it could mess up the tuning. And oftentimes, for you guys, since you don't have your guitars set up well, when you put the capo on, it's going to knock it out of tune. So make sure you check the tuning and stuff. So you get a tuner, plug it in. Get a tuner, and just double check. So. You use all 3 of your fingers for the first 2 chords, and then just 1 finger, and then 2 again. If I let go, cut this off, would I be where I was? Slip away. See, I got these 3. Basically, you strum all the strings, pretty much for the most part, except for the last string. But if I let go, cut this off, would I be here the way I was? Does that solve it for you? Yeah, you basically use all the strings except for the main, the high E. So. Does that help? Okay, good. Yeah, it's just those chords the entire song. I am not a flashy, kind of chord mastermind. I try to make it as simple as possible so I can sing over it. So. All right, so if you guys want, we got a couple more minutes left. I'm going to talk over each part of the guitar. I can't go through all of them. But so for the most part, most people's guitars are going to have a couple things. These are pretty standard on guitars. Let me get my other Strat that's not modified. That way it's something a little more usual for you guys. So I'll use the Benji Caster. Thank you, Benji, once again. So on most guitars, you're going to see that there is something like this, a little switch, right, that goes up and down, the little positions. This is your pickup selector. So this is what they call a blade style, because if you look, it kind of has a blade function. It's not like a one click up, like a light switch. It actually has many different positions. So the idea is that while you are going through this is all the way down, where it's at dictates what pickup it is. So for a Strat, for example, when it's all the way down, it is the bridge position. For most guitars, I would say 90% or more, when it's down or to the like this direction, that is the bridge pickup. If this is the bridge, this is the bridge pickup. Whatever it's close to, you get that. Middle pickup, neck. This is the guitar neck pickup. So on some things it'll say treble or rhythm pickup. That's not a thing. That's like very subjective. But bridge pickup is what most people call it. So bridge pickup tends to be very bright and very mid-range because it's like rock. That's the rock and roll pickup. You get that. And then when you flick it up, that means it's now in another position. So that, for a Strat, is both of these two. It wasn't always like that. It used to be just 3. It was just 1, 2, 3. And it was just 1, 2, 3. That was it. Those are all your positions. But now with most modern Strats, it's 5. You have 5 positions. So you got position 1. That's just the bridge pickup. Flick it up once. That's 2. 2 pickups. Interesting. Even number pickups. That's just how it happened to work. Anyways, so if you notice, this is less rock and roll. Flick it up. Flick it back down. Flick it up. So when you share pickups, it's sharing the electricity, basically. That's a very, very broad way to say it. But essentially what you're doing is you're halving the amount of power for each one. So it's not as full sounding. So you get what they call a quacky sound. So you get this like... And I'll give you another tip too. This is really fun. If you're ever wondering which pickup is on, because sometimes like knobs and stuff like turn around, you're like, which one's which? What you can do is you can actually get a piece of metal, like a screwdriver. They call it the screwdriver test. I'm going to get a spoon here, and we're going to do the spoon test. But you can get a screwdriver. So watch this. I have this on the bridge position. So if I touch this, it's a magnet, so it sticks to it. Check that out. Whoops, dropped it. It's not strong enough. Anyways. But you can see it gets stuck to it. It's a magnet. But watch this. When I touch the bridge pickup, it's going to make a noise. I'm not touching the string. It's not doing it there. But when I flick this all the way up, watch this. Isn't that interesting? That's all it is. It's like a little microphone. But it mainly interacts with metal. That's the main thing. Is it just wants to hear the strings. Anyways, back to the bridge pickup. Bridge pickup. Rock and roll. Position 2. These guys. Middle pickup, mine's lowered, so it's going to be kind of quiet. And then position 4, that's these two. Again, even number pickups. So this is a great example, the quacky. If you're a big fan of Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan, like this is your sweet spot. You get that cool. They call it glassy sounding. Doesn't that sound kind of like... has that kind of sound to it. And you flick it up one more time. That's just the neck pickup. This is the blues. You get that cool. Like the Strat and the Telecaster, your neck pickup is one of the best in the business. But if you go back down to that position 4, see how all that bass goes away? Sounds better with the. So you get some distortion on it. I think they both sound great, but I'm not a big fan of middle pickups, but that's just me. But everybody, it is 8 o'clock, so that means we are finished with the lesson. If you have any other questions, I'm going to upload this on the Patreon, and I'm also going to put it on the TikTok subscription stuff, wherever I can put it in the future. I'll probably upload it again. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you let people know, like, hey, I got some cool lessons. I only had to pay $1. Something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to do the show now, so thank you so much for being here. I hope you learned something. Again, if you want to send me a message, you guys are subscribers. You get to help out, and I get to help you out. So I'm going to do the show. If you got questions, let me know, and then I'll help you out in Eclipse. If you're watching this, hopefully you learned how to play Get By. So thank you so much.